What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Matthew's Mini Bible Study, episode number 6 today. Today we are going to be going over Romans 14, verse 13. Therefore, let us not pass judgment on one another any longer, but rather decide to never put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of a brother. So there's two key things that this verse touches on. The first is to not pass judgment onto your brother, and the second is to not put a stumbling block in their way. Therefore, let us not pass judgment on one another any longer. Ultimately, we are incapable of knowing everything that is going on with our brothers and sisters. So it's not our job to try to pretend like we do know enough about what's going on in their lives and then put judgment on them. It's very explicitly said in the Bible many times that it's our job to focus on loving people. So no matter how hard we try to figure out where people are and what's going on in their lives and why they're acting a specific way or why they do or did what they do, people are in different stages of life and things are constantly changing for them, so we will never be able to fully know. And because there's so much happening behind the scenes for different people within their lives, it's our job to just focus on the simple task of just being there for them and loving them. It's God's job to judge, not ours. But rather decide never to put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of a brother. I mean, this text is pretty straightforward. It just says to do nothing that will hinder or harm others. And then obviously the Bible says many times that we are to focus on loving others and helping others. Even though this text is very straight up about not hindering other people, I feel like it's still something that even as Christians, we can do every day. And we might know about it, and there are things that we might do that hinder other people that we totally might not know about, or want to admit that we know about. We could hinder people by going on the offense. If somebody did something that really pissed you off, or they ripped you off, or you feel like you have a valid reason to be angry at them, we could do something to retaliate and try to get back at them. Or just for fun, you might want to see what would happen if you put somebody in a situation that's not best for them, just for the sake of entertainment. And who knows, that could be in a group setting where you want to impress certain people and prove that you're cool. There's also self-gain, where you could put others down to bring yourself up. And there's also jealousy, where you might be just throwing people down just to drag them down to your level. And lastly, we have unrecognized habits, which you may already know of, would just be not wanting to address and purposely being ignorant towards, or habits and behaviors that you may not have even known you're doing. There's rationalization or ignorance, where we continue to do something that we know is not beneficial to other people, but we just like to pretend that, oh, well, it's worth it, or we purposely avoid thinking about it, and we just kind of, turn off that part of our brain. And there's also ways that we can hinder people that we maybe have not even explored yet or don't even know exist. But I still think it's important that we take responsibility for those things, because that's still part of what we're called to do. It's important that we intentionally seek out the things that we might be doing that can hinder other people. Especially if we're pointing other people in a different direction from Jesus, I would definitely consider that to be a hindrance. Now, I do understand that it can get a little muddy to define what exactly a hindrance is, because if you think about it, helping somebody could be a hindrance in a way for what's best for them. So what seems to be the simple answer to me is, if you're pointing them to Jesus to the best of your ability, that is help. And if you're not pointing them to Jesus, then that's a hindrance. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if we really believe that this book is truth, if you really believe that book is truth and you really believe that Jesus is king, then that's all what matters. And to the best of your ability does not mean that it's going to be easy. So yeah, if you really believe that Jesus is king, it's kind of hard to see how pointing somebody else towards him would be a hindrance. So yeah. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today on this 4-minute Bible study, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace.